Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only 7-day forecast. And winter, it is certainly with us at the moment. We've got another big cold blast on the way with frosty weather going up as far north as Queensland. So that gives you an indicator of what is coming back in again. So we've got at the moment high pressure out here in the Tasman Sea. That is actually encouraging this warmer northwesterly. So temperatures are up. In fact, today, Thursday, most places in the east are having one of their warmest days of the week, especially if you're down around New South Wales. Sydney's going to be 22 degrees today. It's going to be dropping quite a bit in the days ahead. And further down around Melbourne, you've got rain coming through because of all the low pressure down here. We've got a couple of cold fronts dragging themselves along that southern coastline, so that rain will move in. Your top temperature only 14 degrees, so several degrees cooler than it is further up in Sydney. This big high is moving towards New Zealand, and as it does that over the weekend, the low pressure down here, this southerly, that's just brushing parts of Western Australia, that is going to move itself into South Australia, and like I say, all the way up into Queensland. So let's try and make sense of everything that is going on. Here we are for Friday, and I just mentioned Sydney is 22 degrees today as your maximum, might even go a little bit higher than that. By the time we get to Friday, your maximum is only 14 degrees. You got that rain coming through, and by the way, 15 degrees and cloudy going through Sunday and Monday. So Sydney, you certainly have some colder weather coming through. That will be the same for Canberra and everybody else in this corner here. But Friday really does see this front moving along these southern areas. It'll be pushing into Tasmania, windy conditions coming through for you there. And further into parts of Victoria, the wet weather is pretty hit and miss. Bendigo, you're around about 15 degrees. That's the warmest of your 7 days coming up. And up here in Queensland, easterly breeze is coming along, and that dries out obviously as you move along. That's why it's still hot and dry for many of you in the northern half of Western Australia. So into Saturday, now we get back into this wintry change. You see the blue line? That means that the colder airflow that we feel, when there's a southerly and you lick your finger and go, gosh, that's a cold southerly. This blue line means that if you licked your finger out of a commercial jet at 40,000 feet, which you wouldn't do, you would be able to feel that colder airflow. Now that's a terrible analogy, but basically what I'm telling you is this blue line means that the cold change isn't just on the surface of the planet, it goes right up into the atmosphere, which means it's a decent cold change. And that's why you're seeing snow back into the mountains, and we're talking about frosty weather going all the way up into Queensland. Now there'll be a few showers here as you transition away from that warmer flow to the cooler one. That can sometimes produce thunderstorms and heavy downpours. But look at this line of rain coming through here on Saturday. Adelaide, 12 degrees and showers. A little bit further up the road at Port Pirie, 14 degrees, down to 3 degrees overnight. And Ballarat in Victoria, 7 degrees is your maximum on Saturday. That is not very warm, down to 2 degrees with showers around. So a proper cold front coming through here for you on Saturday. Easterlies at the top of the country, and a few showers in that southwestern corner with a northwesterly wind for you on Saturday. Into Sunday, right, let's go back to the cold change. So now it is pushing properly up into New South Wales. Wintry weather comes back, winter weather through the mountains and higher elevation locations. Now going into Queensland, you can see that cold southerly coming through for you on Sunday. So you're going to feel that wintry change coming through for you. Temperatures will drop all the way about halfway mark, going up to about the halfway mark of Queensland with that colder air pool, and it pushes inland as well. But once it comes back around, this is a warmer northerly, obviously, for parts of Western Australia. Hobart, now you're going to be pretty cold, Tassie, on the weekend. Sunday in particular, Hobart, your high is just 9 degrees. You've got a mix of sun and cloud there, maybe a shower. And a little bit further up the road in Lonnie, you're a couple degrees milder by day, 11 degrees, but by night you're down to about 1 or 0. So those frosts are going to appear if the clouds do clear up. It's going to be a bit borderline for some of you with that cloudy weather coming through, and the showers carry on and the snow flurries carry on into other parts. If you want to get some warmer weather, go over to Perth. Your high around 19 degrees, that's not too bad, but you've got rainy weather on the way, and it's just beginning for you here on Sunday if you live in Perth and Bunbury and other areas over there. On the eastern side, Canberra, your high is 10 degrees, but your overnight low is -3, and you'll be seeing overnight lows into getting down to zero potentially once these showers and wet weather clears away, which will be on Monday. So look at this map. Shows you how big the reach is with the colder airflow coming in. So high pressure is parked over Tasmania, anticyclonic winds going around it. So it comes down here, right down into the Southern Ocean. This is the Southern Ocean right down here. So this colder airflow comes up past the South Island of New Zealand and pushes right in to the eastern side of New South Wales, smack bang into Sydney, and going all the way up into Brisbane later on. That's the reason why on Monday night, places like Toowoomba, further inland, -1 or -2 for you. This is proper cold weather for Queensland when that happens. It's like where I live in Auckland. When we start getting down to -2s, it makes the news. And so that wintry weather comes through. Now it dries out a lot because of that high pressure zone, so there won't be so much in the way of rain or snow, but the eastern coastline here will be getting wet weather on Monday, and there's also some heavy rain coming through here south of Perth, some heavy falls, maybe 50, 60 millimetres coming through for some of you, and central areas that is a big warm northerly coming in for you. Sunshine Coast, you're going to be sunny, 20 degrees for you as we go through the day. Got a sunny week on the way. And your overnight low on the Sunshine Coast will be about 8 degrees. You go up to Cairns, your overnight low is 19 degrees. So quite a bit warmer the further north you go in Queensland as we kick off next week. So into Tuesday, these northern areas, not much going on. Katherine, 32 degrees for you and sunny. Might be a couple of showers just brushing parts of western or northwestern Australia. It won't be much. The proper rain down here again in the southwestern corner. And you've still got this very cold change brushing the eastern side of New South Wales. Canberra's on the edge of it, and so too is the coastal side of Tasmania on Tuesday. Let's go through to Wednesday. That low, that stormy stuff moving further off towards New Zealand. New Zealand's turn to get the winter weather as we go through next week. Now you've got the high parked over you, so that means cold nights, frosty weather coming in for those of you in the southeast. Still showery in the southwestern corner of Western Australia. Mild though, with those northerlies coming out of the interior, coming out of the deserts, and not too much to talk about there for you. Into Thursday. Back again, here we go. Winter returns to the southwestern corner. Your next cold front. You've got a lot of wet weather, as I said, coming in from Perth southwards across next week. So that'll set you up nicely, hopefully, for spring, which is just around the corner, or if you're anything like New Zealand, it's already starting to turn up. But with the wintry weather we're seeing down the south here, you may not want to say that it's winter just yet. Certainly seeing more rain on Thursday over there, and conditions still showery for the eastern side of New South Wales, where there is going to be a fair bit of cloud and showery activity. And if you're in Adelaide and other places, Ceduna, you've got that northerly wind coming down for you on Thursday. So let's try and make sense of the rain. Here is the next 7 days animation, and you'll start to see the picture. You can see certainly the southern and coastal parts of the country in the southern half are the areas to get most of that wet weather. Look at the rainfall here though, just south of Perth. You're talking about 80 to 100, maybe even a little bit more, 120 millimetres possibly coming in for some of you there. Further to the east, that heavier rain is further out to sea. You have to go to Lord Howe Island to be getting that. Norfolk Island not seeing a huge amount, maybe 20 millimetres or so for you. But it's the coastal side here going up to Brisbane, some heavier falls inland, higher elevation, most of the places to get that, and down around Tasmania, most of it's on the western half. So to me, the newsworthy part of the rain this week is what is happening over here in the southwestern corner. Today's animation, I'm sorry to say it is not actually an animation, it's just a picture. We're having some computer glitches. Hopefully we'll get it fixed by next week, but we couldn't actually record the movement of it. But today's picture is taken over the top of Longreach. Now, I'm sorry if you do live in Longreach, that's not exactly the best picture, but the reason why I wanted to show it to you is just showing the giant rivers coming in around you. Longreach named after the long reach of the Thomson River. Of course, it goes for many, many kilometres, hundreds of kilometres, as it tracks from the top of Australia all the way down to the south. Temperature-wise, pretty warm weather on the way. Overnight lows are a bit cooler, though, at this time of the year, especially with that southerly that's about to come on through for you from the main system further down. But look at the weather. A little bit cloudy today, but sunny for the next week ahead. Cool spot. I will do a closer flyover of Longreach at some point. Got to show the airport there. Obviously, the connections for Qantas going back in the day. Anyway, that is all from me for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again on Monday with our next Australia Only forecast. Stay warm this weekend.